Hey circus families, it's Rob here, and today I'm going to show you guys a quick tutorial on how to make your own juggling balls at home using rice, balloons, and tennis balls. Now, I always use tennis balls when I make juggling balls, but if you're a juggler with smaller hands or maybe working on learning higher numbers and you still want to use homemade ones, you could also use racket balls or even little tennis balls. This technique will work with any small ball as long as it's hollow. Some other materials that you might need for this project too to make it go a little easier would also include a box cutter or some type of sharp knife to cut open the tennis balls. We're going to use scissors to cut the balloons to a point where they can fit over our new juggling ball, and a funnel of some sort to help put the rice in. Now, the funnel's not really necessary. You could pour it in with your hands or use a spoon, but I do think the funnel will make the process a little easier. On to step one. Now, the first part of this project is going to involve cutting open the tennis ball, so this part is going to require some adult supervision or even just adult assistance. To get started on opening up the tennis ball, I would recommend taking a Sharpie or any other type of marker and having your adult supervision draw a line where you'd like to cut the ball. That's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. Next, you're going to take your box cutter. Even adult supervision, I suggest that you have a sharp blade, and it's going to be next to impossible to get through the ball in one pass, so make sure you're just doing small repetitive cuts over the black line that you've drawn on the ball. Once you've had an adult help cut open the tennis ball, you should have something that looks a little bit like Pac-Man now. And next, we're going to take our rice and fill up the juggling ball. Personally, I like to use the funnel when I'm filling up my juggling balls. I think it makes the work a lot easier and cleaner. So with the funnel inside your juggling ball, you're going to take your bag of rice and just pour a little bit in at a time. If you have a smaller ended funnel, it might help to kind of shake the ball up a little bit, help the rice get in there. And it's important to remember that the amount of rice you put in is all up to you. The more rice you put in, the heavier the juggling ball is going to be. So fill it to your preference. Now that we have our ball nice and full, it's time to cover up the hole so that we can toss it around without worrying about losing the rice. To do that, I recommend taking a small piece of tape and first just covering up the little slit we made in the ball. Now the tape's not going to do a great job sticking to the hair of the tennis ball, but that's okay because the balloon's primary job is going to be to help keep in the rice while also giving it a cool color. With your slit taped up, you're going to take your scissors and cut off the long end of the balloon. Hopefully you have better scissors than I do, so it goes a little smoother. There we go. And then you're going to take the newly cut end of the balloon and stretch it out and try to really squeeze it over the top of the juggling ball like that. Bring it all the way around, and you should be left with something that looks a little bit like this. Now, if your juggling ball has a little bit of like excess flap like mine right here, feel free to just take a piece of Scotch tape and tape it down, and voila! You now have your very own homemade juggling ball. If you haven't been making all 3 of your juggling balls simultaneously, now you're just going to repeat all those steps again with the other 2 balls, and then all that will be left to do is juggle. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you enjoy your new homemade juggling balls even more. Thanks for watching, and happy juggling!